Right, good afternoon everybody and welcome to Katran TV. You're joining me on a glorious spring afternoon and we're actually here for one specific reason. I say we're here, I'm here for one specific reason, and that is to have a look at a new mainline, or at least to test a new mainline. So this is, I think it's the first time this stuff would have been buzzed out. Can't say too much about it, but you know, it's not all cloak and daggers. What we're looking for is something that's very low stretch and sinks really quickly. Obviously we'll be looking at future testing scenarios for how it casts and all the rest of it over distance and that kind of thing. I mean, here, you know, this isn't a big lake and we should get a few bites. We are fishing for fish up to mid-30s, mind you, you know what I mean? So we should be getting our string pulled, but as I say, that, you know, the beauty of this place is it is good for, normally good for getting a few bites. They are a bit spawny, you know, they're starting to group up and that might work against us. But I think we should be able to get enough sort of early doors information to see if we're on the right track with this main line. And just before I go and get my kit out, I'll just tell you what I'm doing initially. So I've got two rods. One's got Krypton in 21 pound, one's got the new main line on. Why two rods? Well, with different main lines, I know how Krypton feels and it ticks so many boxes for me personally as an angler with regards to stretch, casting, knot strength, sinking, all those things. So if this other line is anywhere near that or better, particularly with the sinking, then I know we're onto something. But I'll talk to you about how we're going to bait up for these fish, the rigs we're going to use. Obviously both rods are going to be bang on the same spot. I'm going to try and bring the fish in so that I can really get a feel for how each line is, you know, sort of performing against each other. So we'll see how it pans out. Fingers crossed they hold on and don't start doing fruity things on, you know, and bugger it all up, but we'll see. I'll keep you posted, and as I say, just shortly we'll have a look at some bait. Right guys, so bait and rigs. Now it's quite simple really what I'm doing. The fishery is fed via pellet. And it's on a timer, so the pellets, they're used to the sound of the pellets being sort of plopping in. So I'm trying to mimic that. The spot that I'm fishing is on the far margin at the bottom of a shelf. I want them feeding down the bottom of the shelf really. And so what I've done is a little bit of PVA string onto a bare rig, pop up on there, hit the clip, walk round, wait for the pop up to come up, feed over the top with a spoon. The sound of those pellets going in, I think, you know, should trigger a response from the fish, and you know, it's because they're used to it. I think you talk about ringing the dinner bell. I mean, on here, that's exactly what it is. The bigger fish in here are from a place, to my knowledge, that love a boilie. I mean, they absolutely love a boilie. So boilies have got in there too. Pea fish from Mad Baits, soaked overnight in spring water and calanus, and that's just to soften them up. It's not to make them seem safe on the bottom or anything like that, to wash out the colour. It's to soften them up, take some of the calanus on, and so that when they start eating it, it's a nice easy meal. And rig wise, Slip D multi rig, it's a rig I've used for absolutely years, great for snowmen, and great for changing the hooks. So I am on a sharpened hook, so size 4J precision hook is on the rig. Now, they get me more bites, I feel, with a sharpened hook, but they are one fish hooks. So it's nice to be able to quickly change the hook and you're fishing again. So yeah, that's basically what we're doing. Feeding fairly regularly to sort of like, you know, ring that dinner bell. It might seem like a lot of bait that I'm putting out if you were to see the amount of bait that I'm putting in, but there are some big fish in here and there's quite a few fish in here. And as I say, I just want to try and mimic that sound to bring them in. Hook bait. One thing I do need to mention is hook bait. So it's a snowman that I'm fishing on there. Pea fish bottom bait, aniseed and bun spice topper. It is critically balanced. I'm fishing in amongst quite a bit of feed, so I want something that's visual, compared to the feed that I'm putting out, and also will react quickly to a carp taking it, i.e. that's why it's critically balanced. So yeah, fingers crossed we can catch one of the big ones. That'd be lovely, and it would really put this line to the test in here as well. So with regards to what they do, which is charge for the margins, in and out the reeds, you know, you've really got to sort of lean into them to pull them out. So we'll be able to see, you know, how stretchy or non-stretchy the line is, even at close quarters, you know. So yeah, let's see how we do. Right, well that didn't take long. Lovely mirror. Unfortunately on the Krypton rod, not on the other rod. But still, it'll do nicely. Upper double, maybe a scraper 20. I haven't got my scales unfortunately. But tactics are working. So we'll get some more bait in, get this fish back nice and fresh. And yeah, try and catch another one. What a cracker though. I'll be happy with that, aren't you? Right, well, good evening guys. It's now getting on for 6 o'clock, I think, something like that. And since the last bite, which was an hour-ish ago, something like that, it's all gone very quiet, which to be honest I would have expected. That fish fought very, very hard. He nearly did me in the back actually in the reeds. So a bit of commotion over there. But I'm sat by the rods because I am expecting, the sun's just dropping now, so there's a very good chance that, that it's not going to be too long before we get another bite. So what's the main line been like so far? Well, as I say, you know, this really is early days. One thing I have noticed is, do you know when you cast fluorocarbon, it's very different to casting mono with when you hit the clip, even at short ranges, and it's kind of got that feel to it, which is excellent. That's, you know, that's what we're looking for. Probably worth pointing out as well is I spooled this on completely dry, right? So I stripped the line off here actually, off this spool, buzzed it straight on just with the forgot me line spooling tool. I've forgotten everything today. Scales, line spooling tool, and I'm sure there's probably more things that I've forgotten. But yeah, buzzed it straight on dry, which I always do now. I think whether it's Krypton, wild carp, anything, I really don't think you need to soak it. I think it's a bit of a don't know, kind of like the done thing, but is it really necessary? I'm not so sure. So yeah, buzzed it on bone dry, and to say it's performing well. I mean, look, I've only buzzed it out three casts or something, but even in this short amount of time, I can feel that there's less stretch in it than you would expect. With a mono of, this is actually 0.35, so a little bit thinner than the Krypton that I've got on. Sinking wise, well, they seem to be sinking at about the same rate at the moment, but considering the Krypton is slightly heavier line, as in break and strain, that's a really, really good sign. As I say, with all these tests, you know, whenever Katran tests anything, believe you me, everything gets tested in all sorts of scenarios way before it's going to be released. But it's nice to be able to look at something early doors, which I'm actually quite excited about, you know, because it's doing everything that it should do. Now, We'll see how the session pans out. It's a shame that the bite didn't come on the test line. Worth pointing out, I had a small snowman, like really small, 12mm bottom bait, 6mm topper on the test line, which is my favourite presentation. Trying to get a bite on that one first. And on the Krypton, I had a 15mm and a bottom bait and a 12mm topper. And that's the one that went. So could just be chance. I mean, I'm feeding quite heavy, you know, so that it might not have anything to do with the fact that it was a bigger bait that went first, but they're both on bigger baits now. Fish till late, good night's sleep, up at first light, and see if we can catch some more. So yeah, I shall keep you posted. Right, well, good morning, guys. It is 5ish. What have we got? 20 past 5. Been up since 4 o'clock, and you know, just at first light. It's a beautiful time this time of year, isn't it? First light, and did actually fish through. There's me saying I won't put the rods out and I'll get some sleep and all that. You know, well, the bites actually didn't get another bite actually until 1 in the morning, but it wasn't a big fish. I don't know, mid-double common, something like that, but it was on the new test line, but pitch black, couldn't really gauge a lot from it. You know, it worked. It did its job. The fish did charge in for the margins like they normally do in here, and you know, everything seemed to be up to the job. As I said, obviously this is very, very early days, and just trying to get a feeling of it, you know, just trying to get a basic feeling for the main line. But did get my head down after that actually, for a couple of hours. I don't know if you can hear this aerator in the background. That made me jump. I'm actually sleeping out on the veranda, and yeah, the aerator popped on and jumped out my skin, and yeah, just basically waiting for first light. So now gonna get the rods out. It's looking lovely this morning. I think we've got good window for a bite up until about, well, when the sun starts beating down again, really. If it does, I think we're in for some thunderstorms. So got a few hours anyway till about midday, so we'll see if we can see if we can't nick a couple. But first things first, nice cup of coffee. Well, this one, sort this mic out a bit, definitely hang on. He absolutely ran me ragged. Beautiful, beautiful carp. Not big, mid-double, but wow, did he fight. He took me, as they always do, charged for the far margin and then kited all the way down the margin, taking me through every reed bed he could, then bolted into this inside margin. Let's get him another look. But I'm sure you'll agree, an absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous mirror. Hopefully going to meet his great granddad today. But you've got to be happy with these fish, haven't you? And more importantly, let's have a look at his other side, which is why we're here. That was a really good test of the line with regards to pulling him out of the reeds on this inside line. I couldn't get any footage because I was running down the bank with it and trying to unpick him from various reed beds. And there you go. Absolute perler. Let's get him back. I think we've got another couple of hours. I think it's about 8 o'clock now, I'm not too sure. But we'll get him back and See if my finger's out of the way. We'll get him back and see if we can't get another one. Yeah, especially before this sun comes up too much more. So fingers crossed. See what we can do. Check this one out. I don't know how much of the fight you actually saw. A bit hairy trying to get it all sorted. I'm here on my own. I think I did manage to get some of the fight. But yeah, on the new main line, run me ragged. Check him out. Not bad, eh? Ooh. I do not want to muck about with this fish because it's getting hot, but that is a little bit special if you're into ghosties. Let's just get it to the side quickly. Another drink. Shame you can't see the top of his fins. The scales are almost blue. I'll try and get some footage of that before we put him back quickly. But here's the other side. There we go. Again, I haven't got my scales. I'm guessing he's over £20, but just checking he's in shot. But yeah, what a result. Ooh. And I'm going to get this fish back and I'll talk you through, probably the last fish of the session. I'll talk you through what I found out, my thoughts on everything, and yeah, I'll catch up with you in a bit. Right guys, well that brings us to the end of the feature. You've actually caught me under the veranda trying to escape this sunlight. It is red hot, hence the reason I dealt with that fish so quickly, you know, and I would have loved to have shown you the back of it. Blue and black scales, like just crazy looking scales on the back of that thing. But given as it's so hot, I just wanted to deal with the fish as quickly as possible and get it back. And you know, it's worth pointing out as well guys, always make sure your mat's wet. Always make sure you've got plenty of water in these conditions. Keep them wet, deal with them, get them back. And if you ain't got to take a picture, don't take a picture, just deal with them and get them back. But on to why we were here. The main line's performed well, you know, so it's casting well. Consider I wound it on dry, so it's casting really well. Sinking really well. I've been letting it sink under its own weight, you know, so not dipping the tips and just watching it peel through the water, which is sinking really well, as I say. And knot strength seems good as well, really good. Palomar knot is what I'd recommend with a lot of the, in fact all the Katran lines, if you're not all brighting it to a shot leader. Palomar knot has been absolutely brilliant with this stuff. And you've probably seen I've lent into the fish quite a bit. They're on steroids in here, honestly, they really are fighting hard in here. Having to stop them going to reeds, you know, round a little peninsula up there a couple of times, and really having to lean into the fish. So you know if a mono's too stretchy, because in those conditions, in those scenarios, you run into bother because you can't control the fish like you want to. So boxes are ticked, you know, on the main points that I was looking for. And it's worth pointing out, don't for 1 minute think that this is how Katran test their lines. This is just me. They get tested all over all over the world, in fact, before they're released in pretty much every condition that you can think of. This is just me, lucky enough to get some early doors, and I thought I'd share the session with you with the first time using it to get some very early feedback for Katran. So I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've been able to put up with my recording. This is just me, so Tony, our main camera guy, he's not been here. This is just me trying to put something together, so hopefully I've done all right. The next time you see us will be with Tony, thank God. And we'll be fishing for some rather large carp. I think there'll be 4 of us lads there. More about that soon, but look out for the feature middle of June. I'm going to say that one will be out, but until then, look after yourselves, especially in this heat. Don't be a divvy like me and get yourself being burnt, because that's what I've managed to do. And hopefully you can catch a fish or 2 before they spawn, because I think that's happening now up and down the country. But yeah, tight lines, and I shall catch up with you soon.